Improving in life is not a monolith. You're cheating yourself out of your own potential by just focusing on a singular aspect of yourself and neglecting the holistic vision of what you can become. The reality of self-improvement is that it's all connected. What do I mean by that? I mean that you have different aspects of yourself, different pieces that all impact each other and help create the best holistic version of yourself. To break this down in this video, I want to focus on the three main categories of self-development. You have the physical side, going to the gym, getting in shape. You have the mental side. We talk about reducing anxiety and depressive thoughts, getting mental clarity. And then you have the emotional and spiritual side, which focuses on the aspects that you can't necessarily see, but you feel, like the human connection. It's all focused on connection. When you go outside in nature and you feel connected to your environment, when you connect with friends or family. So to kind of break this down, first we need to understand what the categories we're talking about are. So physical health, like we said, going to the gym, getting in shape, it's becoming physically the best version of yourself. This may look like eating right. This may look like sleeping right. This may look like going to the gym or going on runs or getting some sort of exercise regimen going. And then with mental health, it really revolves around mental clarity. That's what most people seek when they come into either mental health counseling or they're looking to improve their mental health in some way. They want to get this clarity and zen feeling. Oftentimes it looks like reducing the clutter in the mind, like reducing the anxious and depressive thoughts. And this is often done in the self-improvement space through things like meditation or going to therapy to gain more insight into yourself. And the emotional / really spiritual health focuses on the connection that one has to different pieces of their world, either a connection to their environment through hiking in nature, connection to themselves, also maybe through meditation, connection to their friends and family through spending time with others. And if you haven't already noticed, there's a lot of overlap between these because self-improvement is really all connected. Just focusing on, I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to become better and I'm going to look better and I'm going to feel better and be physically fit, to the neglect of everything else is kind of missing the point. And ultimately what can happen is by just focusing on a singular aspect of yourself, you can become a unidimensional individual. This has been popularized by some of the more modern terminology like going monk mode. And while dialing in and focusing on your goals can be really helpful in having periods of time where you just wake up in the morning, you focus on a singular goal, you go to bed, you think about that goal, you journal about that goal, and all you are is focused on that goal, it can have negative effects if not taken within the right context and understood in moderation. To be solely focused on a goal can be very good, because the neglect of literally everything else is going to be detrimental to the holistic version of yourself. And just building a good body in the gym while also neglecting mental health, neglecting human connection is really missing the point. Because the truth is, human connection really is the purpose of self-improvement. When embarking on anything to develop ourselves, ask yourself why you're doing what you're doing. Ask yourself what the purpose of your goal is. For example, with physical health, going to the gym or getting an exercise regimen, what is the purpose of that? Meaning the next step may be to get a physique that's a little bit better than what you have now. But ultimately, it's because probably you want to be able to attract a mate. You want to be able to be healthy in the future, to spend time with friends and family. Ultimately, a lot of it is predicated on not the immediate goal of, let's say, getting a good physique, but it's predicated on the idea that you ultimately want to further foster your connection with other people. Or let's take building business for an example. While sacrifices are necessary, definitely you can't spend all your time just hanging out with people and frolicking in nature. That would be pretty cool, but that's just not really how it works. You do need to set aside time. But to set aside time for building a business or a singular focus while neglecting literally everything else in your life is going to have detrimental effects. That being combined with a lot of times social connection, this is a skill to build in and of itself. To be able to connect with other people, it takes time and effort and practice to be able to develop your social skills. And the point of developing social skills is to also greater foster this connection with other people. Now, I want to shift gears a little bit and talk about how these different aspects of ourselves are kind of interconnected and really help to achieve further goals. So let's take your mental health for an example. Let's say you're really focused on mental health and you're like, you know what, I'm going to meditate every day. I'm going to go to therapy. I'm going to do all this. It's also important to remember that self-improvement is intertwined and all impacts itself. Just saying I want to focus on mental health is good, but it can be great if you're also combining that with knowledge of how your mental health is impacted by your physical health and social health. By going outside and let's say you want to focus on mental health and you're like, you know what, one thing I'm going to do for mental health is I'm going to actually go through my connection spiritual health. I'm going to hang out with friends that mean a lot to me. What's actually going to happen by embracing this more holistic approach, you're going to be able to improve the different parts of yourself more effectively. You're going to be able to improve your singular goals more effectively by embracing the holistic approach. There's a fascinating study that recently came out that I loved, where it was talking about how going to the gym seemed to have similar mental health benefits as a therapy session. Specifically, if you're pushing yourself in the high intensity range and you're really going all out. And we know this intuitively because we always feel this feeling after a good workout session or a good run or, some sort of really good exertion of, whoa, I feel light, and we feel like our mind is free of clutter. The same idea. By going for walks and embracing your physical health, you may think you're really burning calories, but really you're also impacting your mental health. And at the same token, it goes vice versa, where your mental health really impacts your physical health. The more mentally healthy you are and less stressed you are, your body's going to be able to allocate more resources in order to build muscle and burn fat, because it doesn't think you're in a high stress environment where it needs to hold on to all the fat possible for survival purposes. So these were some brief examples of how all the different aspects of yourself actually impacts each other, how your mental health impacts your physical health, impacts your social and spiritual health, and how all of that really creates the most holistic version of yourself. But let's make it even more practical. How do we embrace this balanced approach? So first, you need to identify the different singular goals that you have. Meaning, I broke it down into 3 categories, but you can have whatever categories you want. You can have whatever specific items within those categories. Let's say within your physical health, you're not necessarily looking to build muscle, but you're like, I really want to become a great runner. Then that will be one of your goals under physical health. And then let's say mental health, you're like, you know what? I want to be able to meditate for 10 minutes a day. And that'll be your mental health goal. Practically what you can do once you have your different categories or different specific goals, you can take out your calendar and you plan them into your day or your week. Ideally, you can have something each day that really impacts, all your different categories or all your different goals, or at least weekly, meaning if some of it is human connection, you realize, you know what? I've really been neglecting hanging out with friends because I've just been doing this other goal, or I've just been lazy or whatever. Then you can focus in on your calendar and your schedule and plan it all in. By planning it into your day or your week or even your month, depending on what kind of activities and what kind of goals you have, you're going to take more chance out of the equation, and you're going to make it more set in stone that you're actually hitting life from all these different categories. So let's see. I'll do this right here with you now. I want to go to the gym 3 times a week. I do a push-pull legs routine. So I usually do that Sunday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. I want to focus on hanging out with friends more and building more human connection. So I can put that once a week. Usually on Sundays probably works best for me. So I can do that there. As far as, let's say, the mental health. So I like to journal before bed. So I'm going to put that into my calendar as a daily thing. So that was kind of just a very brief, basic example right there. I just wanted to think it through with you right now. But that's kind of the idea, is that you come up with what your goals for the different categories are. Maybe you have more goals, maybe you have less goals, maybe you have bigger categories, smaller categories. Whatever it is, focus in on them and figure out a way to include all of them in your life, because just focusing on one goal may get you a little bit more ahead for the time being, but it's going to neglect your entire holistic potential, which is really the whole point of self-improvement. If you found this valuable, let me know in the comments, like and subscribe if you like the video, and remember to hit life on all cylinders.